Okay, this is the finding the trig values problems. I need to do a little preliminary walkthrough before I start doing the questions. This is very simple, but it requires a lot of setup. And so I want to review, basically, you only need two things to be able to do stuff like this. The quadrant, which tells you positive or negative, and then the reference angle, which tells you the number. Now, I'm going to build a chart really quick, just since I didn't do it. I mean, I tried to do it in class, but to do all these values, it's really easy. Just make a bunch of fractions and put 2's on the bottoms of all of them. For sine and cosine, always put sine, cos, tan. Now you're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, and then put radicals on top of them all. I'm not going to put a radical on top of 1 because radical 1 is 1. So again, you just put 2's on all the bottoms and then put 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. To do tangent, you just take the tops and divide them. So tangent is sine over cosine, right? That's a trig identity. So you just do 1 over radical 3. Here you do radical 2 over radical 2, which is just 1. And here you do radical 3 over 1, which is radical 3. I also put the quadrants and the angles, right? Quadrant 1 is between 0 and 90. 2 is between 90 and 180. All stewardesses travel continuously, or if you like, all students take calculus, which isn't true anyway. So the letter tells you which trig dude is positive in that quadrant. In quadrant 1, everybody is positive. In quadrant 2, only sine is positive. In quadrant 3, only tan is positive. And in quadrant 4, only cosine is positive. Obviously, if sine is positive, the partner cosecant will be positive. If you flip a positive number, you still get a positive number. Okay, so quadrant tells you plus or minus only. That's all it tells you. The reference angle tells you the number that you're going to have off that chart. So when I want to do sine 210, I got to figure out where it landed and what the reference angle is. So to draw 210, you goes 90, 180, boom, it's over here somewhere. When you land in quadrant 3, you take the angle and you subtract 180. That's 30. So this is my reference angle. So as I said in class, this does not mean that 210 and 30 are the same angle. They are clearly not the same angle. But if you draw 30 in quadrant 3, that is equivalent to a 210-degree angle, right? If you came down there into quad 3 and just drew 30, that's the same as you going 210 in quad 3. So in quadrant 3, right, you could always put it when you're drawing the thing. I'm in the T quad, so I know that this is a negative number. I also know now that I'm looking for the sine of 30 degrees in quadrant 3. That tells me it's negative. This tells me it's negative. I just look for sine 30, half. Very simple. As soon as I see 30, I know the number's a half. As soon as I see quad 3, I know that it's a negative number. All right, so this is what I'm going to do with all of them. This is the process. All right, so the next two, cos 315. Now look, there's a little trick here. If you look at the angles, right, 30, 45, and 60 are special angles because they're part of those special triangles. Only one of them ends in a 5. So if you ever see an angle that ends in a 5, the reference angle is going to be 45, right? 135, 225, 315. So, but I got to make sure. So 90, 180, 270. Aha, I land over there. So when you're in quad 4, you take 360, you subtract the angle. Of course, it's going to give me 45 in quadrant 4. Now, in quadrant 4, ooh, he's positive. So I know that this is going to be a positive number. I made a mistake putting that there. So I know this is going to be plus, and I know that it's 45. So I look for 45 on the chart. So I'm doing cosine 40. I mean, what I'm really doing is the cosine of 45 in quadrant 4. Not in quadrant 1. 315 is not in quadrant 1. So I just look at that number. It's radical 2 over 2. It's that simple. Again, quadrant, reference angle. Two simple things. That's why these can be done very fast. If you could get the reference angle super quickly, and if you know, like it's obvious this lands in quad 2. It's between 90 and 180. So this angle is in quad 2, right? So this one's done. So, but to do this correctly, the official way to do it, right? You want to draw it 90. I did it again. I have to put the answer there. So you're gonna go 90 and a little bit more, right? That's about 120. So you take 180. I'm looking for this angle right here. This is your reference angle, right? Part of that reference triangle. You do 180, take away 120, which is 60. So what I want is tan 60 in quad 2. I'm in quad 2. That's the S quad, right? All stewardesses travel continuously. Only sine and his partner are positive there. If the letters don't match, right, you have a T and an S. They don't match. So this dude's going to be negative. And then I look for 60 on the chart. Radical 3. Again, reference angle quad gives me everything. Reference angle tells me it's radical 3. The quadrant tells me that it's negative. That's all it tells you. So you just need those 2 pieces of information. All right, do a few more. Okay, I picked 2 more. I'm kind of jumping around a bit because I want to do certain things. Cosecant is not there. All right, it's not one of the main 3, right? Sine, cosine, and tangent are. You always use those 3 in order. You don't need a chart for cosecant. You should be memorizing nothing with cosecant. All you have to do is find sine and flip it over. So first, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I got to find my reference angle. This I know this is in the 4th quadrant. How do I know? Because it is between 270 and 360. All right, I'm not even going to draw it. I know that it's in quad 4. So I'm going to take 360 and I'm going to subtract 300 and I get 60 degrees. So now what I want to do is I want to do the sine of 60 degrees in quadrant 4. But why? I need to do cosecant. No, you don't. You do sine, you get that value, and then you flip it over. All right, forget about cusc. You don't memorize. Nobody memorizes cusc. So you're going to do 60 degrees in quad 4. There it is. Now remember, in quad 4, only cosine and his partner secant are positive. So this dude is negative radical 3 over 2, right? Quadrant 4 tells you negative. This 60-degree reference angle tells you radical 3 over 2. Now, to do cosecant, real easy. They're partners. He is his reciprocal, so flip it over. Keep the negative and flip it. Done. You gotta rationalize that. No, you don't. Leave the radical on the bottom. Who gives a damn? Nobody. All right, so there's your answer. I found the reference, I found the quad. I did the value for sine because that's the partner, and then I flipped it over. Very simple. Now here you have a negative angle. Negative angles can be kind of tricky because they go down, right? When you draw a negative angle, normally when you draw the angle, it goes up and around. Negative angles go down. So I'm going to go 90, right? That's 90, and then a little bit more. Now remember what I said before, it ends in a 5. I already know it's going to be 45. So what you do is when you see a negative angle, you drop the sign, right? You make this angle positive. Although it's kind of ridiculous because I'm about to subtract 180 and do 180 minus that angle. So you're going to take 180. You're not minusing a minus, all right? You're just subtracting a positive 135. So either way, you're just doing 180, take away 135, you get 45. So, but look where you are. You're in quad 3. Aha. You're in the T quad. Look, the letters match. So tangent is positive here. So even though the angle is negative, which meant it went down, this value is going to be positive. It's going to be a positive number. It's going to be positive. Now I have 45. Tan of 45 is 1. So you just get positive 1. Obviously, you can just write a 1 there. Okay, I'm doing one last bonus one now. You might look at number 6 and this isn't what number 6 is. This is different. I wanted to show you one where the angle is in radians. Remember, degrees is how you measure an angle, but so is radians. Radian is just another unit of measure, like feet and inches. I can tell you, 6 feet tall, or, I can tell you 60 inches or whatever. I mean, that doesn't work. So it's just a way to measure, right? Same thing with feet and yards, right? 3 yards or whatever, 1 yard is 3 feet. So you want to convert to the angle that you are aware of. So this does me no good, this 4 pi over 3. So what you want to do is you want to put 180 where the pi is. You want to divide first. So, right, 18 divided by 3 is 6. So this is 60. And then multiply it by 4, right? Just double it twice. You get 120 and 240. So I really want the secant of 240 degrees, right? You're just converting from one unit to another unit. You're converting from radians. Radians has a pi to degrees. Degrees is what we're used to seeing. Degrees we can understand and relate to. you know, if I tell you turn 90 degrees to the right, you understand what that means. If I tell you, you know, to turn 1.7 radians to the right, you're like, well, what? Well, I don't know what that means. Pi over 2 is 1.7 radians roughly. So you don't know what that is. 90 degrees makes sense to you, but anything else doesn't make sense to you. So this is the same exact problem. We're going to do reference angle. We're going to do quad. Quad is easy. Look, it's between 180 and 270. That's why it helps to have this there. 240 is between there. So this is in quad 3. So you're in quad 3. You know, you don't need to draw it. I draw it sometimes. So you're going to take, now this is important. You never use the 270 value. Some people are like, oh, take 270 and subtract 240. And you get 30. Wrong. If, and I want to show you why you don't do that. If you were to draw the angle, you see you make a triangle right here. The reference angle is right there, not down here. The triangle always goes up or down, right? The triangles go like that. So you always draw the triangles for the x-axis. So the reference, so you're always either going to use 180 or 360. So here you're going to take 240 and subtract 180. Obviously you can't do 180 take away 240, it's negative. So you get 60 degrees. So you get, now this is not one of the main ones. His partner is cosine. So you're going to do cosine and flip it. So I want cosine of 60 in quad 3. Quad 3. Oh crap, T. The letters don't match. So it's negative. So it's negative. And then cosine is 60 is 1/2. So to do secant, I take this number and I flip it over. The negative stays. You flip a 1/2, you get a 2. Okay. So again, these are very straightforward. You do the same thing again and again and again. Get the quad, tells you positive or negative. Get the reference angle, tells you the number off the chart. Those are the only 2 pieces of information you need to be able to do these. As long as you remember which partner goes with which. All right, it's pretty straightforward. All right, so that's it.